Welcome to I Didn't Know That, the show about things I didn't know. And today I'm so excited to have Deanna Nelson with me. Deanna made this beautiful artwork. And Deanna, what do you call this?
It's a botanical plaster art.
Okay, and you are with Deanna Joy Art right here in Detroit Lakes. And we are going to go through your process of how you make this beautiful artwork. And it's out of real flowers.
Yep, we use fresh flowers, greens, branches, trees. Yep.
Excellent. So stay tuned. We're going to show you this process. All right, Deanna, we're in the shop. What are we doing first here?
Okay, first we're going to roll out a slab of clay. And I'm using my clay roller here. And that gets me a nice uniform flat surface because it really does matter for a finished piece. And sometimes I'll wet it down.
Where did you learn how to do this?
I would find stuff on YouTube which would help me, but it really just took many, many attempts at figuring it out for myself. So, here we'll roll it out. This is the slickest machine. So now that's pretty good. I can work with that. And we're going to be doing an 8-inch square today. So I'm going to go there, and there, and there. There, those are going to be my sides when I'm done, so it will hold plaster. And then we're just going to bring this inside where it's a little easier to actually create the art. So we're going to set the sides down here. And then we want this to be as smooth as possible. And I've got some little pieces of plaster in there. And then we're going to pick our botanicals. And this is a cute little monstera plant. I have plants around the house and they're just for the botanical art.
Do you have a favorite flower or plant that you like to use?
Sage leaves, but it's not the right time. They have such an incredible texture on the back of their leaves. And we're going to do a lily today, and this is called alpine thistle. We're going to stick some of there, and we're going to go.
And now, do you have a background in kind of flower, like art?
I do in floristry. Yeah, I went to school to become a floral designer in my early 20s. And then...
So last week, right?
Yeah, last week. You're a funny girl. So we're going to start. I'm going to lay this here. And then you just kind of arrange the leaves. And then I'm gonna, sometimes it's easier to do this plastic like this, and then I roll that in. Okay, so that's what we have to work with. So now we're going to just start taking everything back off again. When you're working with daisies, most of the petals get stuck in the clay, and so then I've got this fine tweezer that you sit and gently, lovingly remove all the petals. I've spent hours before removing the florals out of the clay.
Wow. I'm just impressed that you were like, oh, I really like this. I'm gonna learn how to do it.
I'm one of those people that's like, I love watching videos on how things are made. That's gonna be a good one. It's gonna work cool.
And have you experimented with different clay, different?
I probably went through 8 different kinds of plaster until I found one that was the perfect plaster. It's super high density, super hard. It dries really well. It picks up incredible detail. And I just kind of sit and I go around and I try to smooth things out. There's a lot of time that goes into editing these after they're in. After we peel back the clay and you have the... Okay. So this isn't the last step or the final product because I do a lot of sanding and filling of the actual plaster piece. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a knife. And now we're gonna cut this. Okay. So now we mix the plaster and we pour it in. And then we're going to pour it in really slowly. So that it catches all the grooves.
Do you still have some of your first ones that you did?
Oh my gosh, I do.
Yeah.
They're so bad. They're so bad. So when the plaster hardens, then we peel back the clay. And it just comes off real clean like that.
How long did this sit?
Well, this has been sitting here for a few hours today, and typically an hour, maybe a little less.
For the plaster to dry?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that's to the point where you can peel the clay off.
Got
it
it.
Takes a couple days for it to actually. So then here's the one that I did earlier, and that was just the lilies.
Beautiful.
And then I take it to the sink and we wash her off. And she comes alive. But as you can see here, there's a break in the stem, which happens quite often. And then I fill that in later with plaster. So I mix up a little plaster and take a paintbrush, and then I fill that in so that it doesn't look obviously broken, because things will break when you push them down into clay. This will take a couple days to dry completely, and then it gets fully sanded on every single side. And then I choose a paint.
So you hand paint all of these, correct?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Wow. So some have color, some don't, or you know, or maybe just one color.
Yep. So this art form is very popular in England and Asia area, and the majority of their artists they stop at this point after sanding some. And I don't know if they fill or not, but they don't paint theirs. And there's something to be said for that, I think, because you have the light and dark shadows. You know, it creates its own
Yeah, it's pretty
coloring
on its own, but I think you take it to the next level.
Yeah, the sanding that I'll do next and the shaping, because I just really want a fine piece when I'm done. I want it really fine.
Deanna?
Yes.
Impressed. I'm impressed.
It's fun, isn't it?
I remember the first time I saw these and I was just blown away. And you know what I always like to see, because I think sometimes I get the mindset of, I see that, I want to be good at it right away, and I'm going to be perfect at it. And I know a lot of kids are that way too. They think they should be good at something right away, but you've had lots of trial and error.
Yeah. It just, the more time you put into it, the more you learn what works, what doesn't work, and it becomes easier.
Well, but you are an artist, so I mean, me trying to paint that, it would maybe that would be art in itself. It'd be a little shaky.
I've seen art like that.
Oh. I'm just so thankful you let us see your process.
I'm glad you came to see it.
And then you can do like all sorts of things. You know, we've seen some of your work that's big.
Yeah.
And you have circles, and you were mentioning you can do a memorial.
I just did one this weekend. Of course, that's always last moment, but I go and I pick out some of the flowers from the arrangements.
From a funeral.
Or celebration of life, weddings. I do christening gowns too, so things that have an emotional attachment to them. And then I come home and I put it together, and it brings a lot of peace and a bit of happiness in a sad situation.
Well, so thankful that you decided, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try this today.
Yeah, so. I'm like, I gotta figure that out. That can't be that hard, can it?
Oh, and I was gonna say, you do all different kinds of flowers. I noticed some wildflowers, some native flowers, and then just kind of trees.
Yes. The piece that you showed at the beginning is all native to Minnesota, out of the ditches, which to me, when I'm showing the art, I let the people know up front where these came from and the importance of our wildflowers.
Yes,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that too, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for watching. I didn't know that, with Deanna Nelson of Deanna Joy Art. So I'm assuming we can look at your website, or?
Yep, DeannaJoyArt.com, or my Instagram has much more than my website, and that's Deanna Joy Art, so.
All right, well, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. I know I always do every time I do one of these, so thank you.